Hello class. We're continuing our work with Chapter 13 in abstract classes, and in our scenario today we have the opportunity to create a menu system for a restaurant, and I just wanted to look at this fancy menu system together. This is Qdoba. I'm pretty hungry. We have things kind of separated into interesting categories. As we look at them, it seems to me like it's kind of hard, I don't know, to use, but I can order things, and we're going to start with our basic menu items, what kind of things we have on the menu. So I have NetBeans open. I'm going to create a new project. I'm going to name my project the menu, and this is going to have all of my information for our menuing system. Now in my editor, the first thing I'm going to do is update my package comment. This package will contain a menuing system, and then here at our class, this is going to be our tester app. So we've got the menu, and then we have our main method, and we'll come back to that to put in some code to test our application. Before we do so, I want to create a new class. And the class I'm going to create is MenuItem. So this is going to be an abstract class, as we've been working with in Chapter 13, because this is a class that doesn't actually have enough information to have an instance of itself created. It's just not enough. It's not good enough. It's too abstract. Okay, so in our class, this class will define a menu item and any characteristics. In our menu item class, of course, we're going to want some fields for our class. So let's define our class fields. And first, I think we need a string to hold the item name. This is going to be the menu item name that would show up on the menu, you know, like delicious food. I'm going to set up a float variable is our item price, and this is going to give us an opportunity to change some data types back and forth as we work with our class. We'll create another float, item cost. This way we can know how much does this item cost our restaurant and how much do we sell it for. And lastly, item description, and this would be a longer description of our menu item. And I'm sure you can think of many other fields or properties that we would like to keep track of for a menu item. And of course, we don't want our abstract class to get too huge. Now, because our class is going to be abstract, we're going to add that abstract keyword to our class statement. And that's all we need to do. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put in some constructors, or do you want getters and setters first? Let's do getters and setters. I'm going to use a feature of our IDE that allows us to insert things. And what I would like to do is refactor and encapsulate fields. Now the encapsulate fields dialog box asks me, do I want to create a getter and a setter for all the different fields? And as far as I'm concerned, for our menu item, I think that we're okay having both getters and setters for all of these different fields. So I'm going to go ahead and click refactor and let NetBeans put that code in for me. And then I'm going to continue to use productivity tools, and I'm going to insert code for my constructor. And in my constructor, I'm going to go ahead and say that I want to have all of the different data fields of our class as parameters to be initialized by the constructor. And then I can right click and insert code and insert another constructor with none of them, so that I have a default constructor with no parameters. Now, in using NetBeans to generate all that code, I wanted to save time. If you feel more comfortable typing everything out, that would be great practice for you. In this video, I'll try to display things long enough for you to do that. But I do want you to be aware that those NetBeans productivity tools exist, because they can be very helpful. Now I'm going to create some Java doc information for each of my different methods. My menu item, this is my default constructor. No parameters. I really want that to move over. There we go. And then in my constructor that includes all the parameters, constructor with all parameters. Now we said that our menu item was an abstract class, and yet we're putting constructors in our abstract class, even though we're not allowed to create an instance of this class. And this is because when we inherit from the class, we'll be able to use these constructors in our inherited class to build our instance. So we're going to continue creating them. So we have our default constructor, our constructor with all of our parameters, all generated nicely. Here's our class variables. I'm going to move those back up to the top, because in all of the generating of code, they got moved around a little bit. Okay, so my class is coming together. So I'm saying that a menu item is something that exists to create a menu, and it has a name and a price and a cost associated with an item, as well as a description. I have a couple of constructors created, and then all of my getters and setters for my different properties were created. My Java doc was implemented automatically when I encapsulated those fields, so we don't really have to add much there. Returning the item name, setting our item name. So all of this was generated for us, getters and setters for each of our different properties of our class. So that would finish up our class. But we would like to have a method or two to perform some other actions, and we'd like to have a method to calculate the item's profit. If you notice over here in NetBeans, as I build this class, my navigator window is showing very much like a UML diagram for it. I see that I've got my constructors, my getters, and my setters. And then finally all my different fields for this class. So I can use that to refer to those items to see what kind of information I have. I want to create this method now that's going to calculate our profit. So we're going to call it calc item profit. And we're going to say we want to return the cost of this item the price that we're selling the item for minus the cost of the item. Now, any of our methods or our classes that inherit from this class, would they be able to override this method? Something for you to think about. I'm going to add my documentation here. Now, I would also like each of my classes that inherit from this class to implement a specific method. So I'm going to create that abstract method. And we're going to call it get prep time. And we're going to say that whenever someone codes this method, they're going to expect an integer parameter, and they're going to refer to it as the number of items that are going to have to be prepared. So we're thinking that this way we're going to be able to find out how long it's going to take to have somebody's order ready. Our users were pretty vague in their specifications, but now we've created this basic abstract class that we could communicate with our users and say, is this enough information? Now, while you think about that, we'll be coming back with our second video to continue on creating inherited classes for this abstract